Hello there guys, it's Deh here and I'm back with another video. It's been a really long time and yeah, I'm just glad to be back, and I am finally done with a lot of cards in the set. I'm currently doing artwork for my own, for some cards that I'm gonna be putting in with my own art, just really simple art, and yeah. So there will be more cards coming, but this is basically what the cards that I have so far. I will attempt to upload all of the cards on untap.in so you guys can playtest them. And yeah, so a few changes to the cards. As you can see, I did add a little bit of a watermark. This is not for the artwork or anything, this is just for the card itself. I kind of don't want my cards to be like copied, or the entire game to be copied, so this is just to protect the cards. I have also added a little bit of a text box here, which took a really long time actually. So I've now added this little text box which will cover the cost. So 1B means that it costs 1 blue, and if you see here, uh, it, this one has a cost of 1 purple and 3 colorless, so it's 1P and 3C. Someone did comment below about like how, like they were concerned with how like people who have color blindness can play this game. So yeah, hopefully this fixes that issue, and yeah. Also, card backs. I'll most likely go with this for the card back. I kind of like it. So it's like constellations all around, and you got round battles with the line in the center. I think it looks pretty nice, and we got a little bit of a gray border, so it doesn't look that like striking, I'd say, because without it, it looks a little bit too blended in. So this is just to like give it a little bit more pop. So yeah, let's go through each and every one of the cards, and I'll explain, like for some cards I'll just explain like a little bit of the design and everything. So yeah, this will be a little bit of a sort of like review on all of the cards. So starting off, we have Studious Lizard, which is a 1 cost, which allows you to draw 2 cards when it is played, and it's a 1/2. So very simple card. Drawing cards is not that great, which is why even though it's a 1 cost card, it does have a pretty good stat line. Like it still draws you cards, which is good. So I didn't want to make it too overpowered. So yeah, I think this is a very balanced card. And this was the first card that I ever made, and I think this is a really good start to the game. Sunken Wisp, I did want to sort of create like some normal creature with nothing, and this was the experimentation of that. Sunken Wisp is a very simple one blue, 1/1, very simple stat line, and there's a little bit of a quote: "The ocean is so peaceful today." So yeah, I think this is a pretty nice card. I feel like I should have given it an ability, but since it's like a wisp, I kind of just wanted it to be normal. Next is the Monster of in the Shadows. This was a pretty nice card to design. So it's 1 purple and 3 colorless, and when it's played, you kill 1 creature that has lower power than health. So this is actually a very strong card, but I think it's not strong to a point where it required nerfing. If you guys watched my last video, I did nerf a lot of cards. So yeah, so it is a 6/3, which is a very well statted creature, but it is a rare, so pretty fair enough. And the plate effect is a must use effect, so if you might end up killing your own creature. If there are no creatures on the field that have lower power than health, then the effect just fades out. So yeah, that's how the game works. Also, hope you guys are kind of enjoying the music. I did change up a little bit, so yeah, I might change it again though. I think this should be better. Something less poppy would be nice. Something more calm. Anyway, continuing with the card review. So next is Turbo Roborex, and this card is a pretty good card. I did kind of want it to combo well with other raid creatures. So its plate effect allows you to search for a raid creature with a total cost of 2 or less and add it to your hand. So very powerful effect, but it does have a pretty high cost of 3 red and 1 colorless, meaning you most likely will play this card in a full red deck. Additionally, the 5/3 stat line is really good for red creatures, but also kind of easy to kill. It's not as great as Monster in the Shadows stats, which is 6/3, but I mean, considering that it costs like a lot of red, and it does allow you to search your deck for creatures like Pinky, which I'll go through later, I think this is a pretty fair card. I think it might need a nerf, but it looks good to me. Intelligent Rockman is card number 5, and yeah, I think this is like, yeah, these are all the speed arts, like it's artwork created by Speed. I can't remember what his real Discord name is, but I'll try to find out. Yeah. So when it's played, you put 2 kill cards into your deck and shuffle it. So this way you can sort of stay alive. That's what blue is kind of about. And yeah, it's a really low static creature, which is pretty fair considering you're shuffling 2 cards back into your deck, which is really powerful. Next is Vacuum Man. When it's played, you choose a creature in play and attach it to this creature, and this creature will gain its stats. Oh, sorry, will have stats equal to the attached creature. So very strong card. So it is 3 cost, and it is a 1/1. So yeah. It's not that powerful, but it's not that weak either. But it is a rare card, so it did deserve some sort of like a little bit more of a powerful ability. Next is Underwater Serpent. When it's played, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards and gain +1/+1 for each card drawn. So really good card, more of a late game card. I realized that this card is super good late game because in the late game you tend to have like 10 cards in your hand. But it's also really bad because if you discard 10 cards and draw 10, you're kind of killing yourself as well. So I think this was probably a really balanced card, despite like a lot of people, when I showed them this card initially, they were thinking like, oh, I can dump my 30 card hand and draw 30 cards, but when you think about it, there's no way you're dumping a 30 card hand. So I think this card was really well designed. I am really proud of it. I think this is probably the best design card out of most of them. Primordial Pocket Watch. I did want to make the game interesting with an extra turn sort of effect. It is a pretty powerful effect, but considering it costs 3 blue and you have to discard 2 blue cards to play this card, I think it's pretty fair. I might give it a legend rule, which is basically you can only run 1 copy of that card, which is what the legend rule does. But yeah, I'll see about it. But so far, when I played it and play tested it, I found myself not playing this card that often, and even if I did, it sort of put me back like quite a lot. So yeah. Smart Phoenix. So whenever you draw 1 or more cards, your opponent discards the top card of their deck. Pretty powerful effect. It is a 2/2, which is a really good stat line. but it does cost 3 pure blue. So it's kind of fair, but at the same time, not that great. But I didn't want to, like blue did need some form of win condition, and I think this card was kind of the perfect sort of card for them. So yeah, I mean, blue needed a win condition, so I had to give it this card. Next is murder. So purple is all about killing cards, so I have to create a card that kills your opponent's creatures. But for 2 purple, it's a little bit too strong to just kill your opponent's creatures, so discarding a purple card from your hand is just to make it a little bit more fair. Dumpster Witch. So a little bit of a bad design choice with this card, because there was a turn where 3 Dumpster Witches were charged, but that's really unlikely to happen. I've also sort of FAQ'd it, so you can't like just charge it and draw again, and then when you charge it, like the additional charge can allow you to draw again. So yeah, you can only draw on your first charge, so there's that FAQ that fixes this card and avoids it from being too overpowered. Next is Stick Ninja. I have to say this card was really hard to design because I didn't want it to be too powerful, but it's a 2 cost, and when it dies you discard 2 cards and pay 2 purple to return this card back to your hand. It is a really well statted creature at 3/2, so I think this is a very fair ability. And next is the first super rare off the set, and that is Rogatron. Really nice card. I have to thank Alphys for this amazing art. It took him like 5 days to make it, and I just really love it. I can't thank him enough for sending me such an incredible art piece. Unfortunately, it's not given like the best ability, but it is a 12/12 that costs 3, but you have to kill this creature at the end of your turn, which means you'll most likely have to play this card from some sort of combo, which I'll show later on. Next is Haunted Teddy Bear. Really well statted purple card. For 2 purple, you get a 3/3. And I have to say, it is a pretty creepy card. I don't like staring at it too much, honestly. Next is Prince of the Underground. I have to say, this was a pretty hard card to design. Initially, I just wanted to design it such that it replayed a creature, but then I thought, hey, why not make it combo with Rogatron? Like, make it a little bit better. So Prince of the Underground is a 2 purple, 3 colorless, and when it dies you get to play a creature without paying its cost, and it loses any ability it has. It has a very good stat line of 4/4, which I might end up dropping to a 3/3, since this card is seeing quite a lot of play in my playtesting. Like, it's quite powerful, but not too powerful to a point where like it's a problem, so I think it's okay. Eye Demon, pretty normal card, kind of explains what red is all about, which is attacking fast and killing your opponent as quickly as possible. And next is Pinky. Really scary card to design because I didn't want to design it such that it was overpowered, but at the same time I did not really want it to be too weak. I don't know if this was a good idea or not, but yeah, so when it's played you can pay 2 red to allow these creatures to attack this turn, making it a 3 red 8 attacker, which is really powerful, but it can be killed very easily. It can literally be one shot by anything, and it has the bad effect of when it dies you have to discard the top, like you have to discard 4 cards from the top of your deck, which is really bad because you're losing 4 cards and you're very close to dying. If you run 3 copies of this card, which is the maximum amount of copies of cards you can run, like of one card, of one type of card you can run. I can't really explain this well, but I think you guys know what I mean. If you run 3 of this and 3 of it die, you're losing 12 cards. So it's a pretty fair ability, I'd say. Next is Spike. I initially designed it really badly because I initially wanted green to be very neutral, but now that I think about it, green by itself is actually super strong, so I decided to make green its own color. Like, you can splash green to make your deck a little bit better. But Spike has a powerful ability, and when it dies, you charge it. So pretty powerful. It is a 2/1, so it dies very easily. So you can use the ability. You're most likely gonna use the ability, and you just get 1 extra energy, which is really good. So yeah, Centaur is a bit of a controversial one. I think it's a little bit fair now. It used to be really strong because what you would do is, like, you would spam creatures, and as long as you have 5 as long as you have 5 energy left, you play Centaur and you can do a lot of things again. So this card was super powerful, but I did nerf it a little bit in terms of its stats. Might end up changing this to like stand 5 of your energy instead, just to make it like a free 3/3, to make it less good, I guess. But yeah, next is Dragobot. So you may discard this card. You may discard a card like when it's in energy, and if you do, this energy provides 2 red this turn. So it's an energy effect, so it's basically a passive effect when it's in energy. It is a 6 cost 8/4, so it's very good stats. So you can like go either way, either play this creature to be a very good energy, or play this creature to be a very well statted 6 cost card. Most of the time you're most likely playing this as energy, but it's very flexible, and I think I kind of love this card. Thorny Rose. It has an energy and passive effect of you can rest it and kill one of your opponent's energy or creatures, which is pretty powerful. And it is a 3/2, so it's very well statted as well. Next is Dark Vines. I'm gonna like run through this a little bit quicker. I don't want the video to be too long. You can take a look and just quickly read it. So yeah, Dark Vines, very simple card. Draw 3 cards when it dies. Sheriff Tumbleweed, which is part of the desert archetype, I call it. Yeah. So the desert archetype is all about summoning Sheriff Tumbleweed. So in it, whilst is in hand, so it has hand over here. So whilst you have a Sandstorm and Cacti in play, or as energy, you may play this card by paying 2 green. So it's a 2 green 7/7, which is really strong. But you can play it for 6 green, but you'll most likely want to play with this effect. And Sandstorm and Cacti are really strong cards. Sandstorm searches out for your Sheriff Tumbleweed and other creatures that are 6 cost as well. And I'll get to it more later. If you guys can remember from a previous video, you would know what other card this can search out. Cacti, symbol card. I did want a creature that like killed another creature when it dies, just to be annoying. But yeah, simple card, 2 cost, and yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can actually summon Sheriff Tumbleweed, like, instead of paying 6 green for just Sheriff Tumbleweed, you can essentially pay 6 green to play Sandstorm, play Cacti, and then play Sheriff Tumbleweed, which is kind of what happened most of the time, since like these two cards ended up dying really quickly. I mean, Cacti died a lot less because of its effect, but yeah. Next is another archetype, Roach, Peat, and Rock. So starting off with Roach. So in your hand you cannot charge this card, but when it is charged, your opponent draws 5 cards. So it's a very aggressive card, and Peat as well, having the exact same effect. But it does cost a little bit more and it has better stats. Actually, both of these cards have really good stats. And then we have Rock, which just can be charged, like in general, like just charge it. And both players will draw 2 cards. But if you played Rock and you played Roach, Peat, and Rock, which is a spell card, you can put the Roach, Peat, and Rock in play into your energy, and you basically charge them, which allows you to use your Roach and your Peat effect. Yeah, by charge them, it actually means you charge Roach, Peat, and Rock, and if you have multiple copies, you charge all of them. You do get to choose if you don't want to charge a certain card, you can let it stay, since it doesn't really have a limitation here. I might FAQ it if I find it to be a little bit too powerful, but that's how I intended the design of the card to be. Mysterious but Cute Goo, symbol card, 1 cost for 1/4, which is actually really strong. But this card as an energy produces energy of any color, but if the color is green, it produces 2 green instead. So yeah, I didn't specify that it will produce 2 green, but I mean, if you chose green, then you produce 2 green. I think it's pretty self-explanatory there, so I didn't really add that extra word, but I might in the future. Next is Twilight Armor. 1 blue, 1 colorless, attach it to a creature, and when the attached creature attacks, you may draw 2 cards, and if you don't, your opponent draws 2 cards. So it's a really good card that you can attach to your opponent's creature and they'll be forced to stop attacking, or you can attach to your own and you can keep attacking with it. It's a good like give or take card, and I do kind of like the artwork here. Foxy the Fire Mage is a pretty standard card, I'd say. I did need a card that kills all creatures, so Foxy is the answer to that. Unfortunately, it's a red card, so pretty. I think red like kind of needed a lot more power, which is why I gave it this card. So yeah, but its effect is really strong to kill all other non-red creatures. The only way you're countering this is by playing red yourself. I think the effect might be a little bit too powerful, but yeah, we'll see. And the stats are way too good for a 4 cost, but I think it's a okay card. Unfortunately, this card only saw play for like a tiny bit, and actually didn't make an impact when it was played, so I won't know how well it actually will do. Flowbird the Mighty. I kind of like the artwork of this card actually. But yeah, when it's played or charged, you return a killed creature to your hand. Very simple effect. Enchanted Song. You can kill a creature and you can play it as if you play it from your hand, which means you basically take control of a creature. But it does activate their death effect, so yeah. This card used to be a 7 cost initially, but I did like tone it down because purple was honestly not that good. It was really weak. Poison Connoisseur, I think I really need a card that minus off stats instead of gift stats. So Poison Connoisseur is that. Mystical Fish, I did want some sort of like draw effect that allowed you to play it instantly. Really hard to design a card like that, but so I decided to go with this effect. You can read it for yourself because I'm running. My voice is getting pretty tired. Anyway, Mystical Crow. Passive, whenever you draw one or more cards, draw an additional card after. This combos well with Smart Phoenix. Since you draw an additional time after, you actually get to trigger a Smart Phoenix twice. So these two cards work together, but they are a little bit hard to get out. So I think it's pretty fair. Besides, like I said, blue really needed a win condition, so yeah. Besides, I mean, drawing more cards is kind of bad for you as well, so it's a good thing and a bad thing. Shark Boy, it's a 2 mana 3/3. Red really needs cards like this with high stats, so yeah, that's what I focused on. Bobbot 8/8. When it's played, both players shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 5 cards. Pretty simple effect, but also kind of powerful. It is a good thing if you have less cards in your hand, but it's also a bad thing if you have a lot. But sometimes shuffling a lot of cards back into your deck allows you to live longer. So yeah, it's a good and bad thing. Resurrection Ritual. Discard all cards from your hand and play a killed purple creature. This should say play a killed purple creature without paying its cost. I apparently forgot to add that, but yeah, just do that now. Don't know why my computer's acting up, but yeah. Anyway, next card is Dark Leech. I mean, it's sort of like an absorption card, yeah. So whenever the attached creature kills another, attach that creature to the attached creature, which is, it was really hard designing this card because the wording was so bad. But I think you guys can sort of get it. So basically, you attach this card to one of your creatures or one of your opponents for whatever reason. But whenever that creature that Dark Leech is attached to attacks and kills another, instead of killing that card, it gets attached to Dark Leech instead. And then for each card attached under Dark Leech, it gets +1/+1. So yeah, it's basically a sort of like growing effect. But this card, I don't think this card will see that much play because gaining 1/1 each turn isn't gonna do much. Macmobot, I think I kind of like this card because it's very flexible, and yeah, it can be an energy that produces 2 red energy for nothing. It's basically a better Dragobot. Yeah, it's just really good. But it is a rare card, so yeah. On Drago, I wanted a card that sort of scales, so this was the perfect card for that. Kenspiff, the All-Knowing Frog. This card was overpowered because it used to be a 1/4, and it was so strong because by turn 4 my opponent was playing really strong creatures, so I had to nerf it by nerfing its health because I found it really difficult to kill. I do still want to keep it as a card that you play on turn 1 and sort of like ramp up slowly, and hopefully this should help. But yeah, I don't think it's a great card anymore, but it's playable, but it's not overpowered, which is kind of the design I'm going for. Jimaru the Corrupted, for 3 costs, You discard the top 5 cards of your deck when it's played. Pretty bad, but you can choose one killed creature and gain its stats. So if you killed Monkey King, which is the card beside here, it would gain this Jamaru would gain its stats, so it gets +2/+2, and you add it back to your hand. So really strong effect here. And I think this is probably the most perfect purple card because it includes everything that purple sort of does. Monkey King, I think when I showcased you guys this card, it's the biggest mistake I've ever done. I can't believe this used to be a 6/6 that gained +2/+2. But anyways, it does actually combo Sans Doom for being a 6 cost, so there's that. Dead King's Crown. Oh my god, my voice is dying. It's a 7 cost card, so you're most likely never gonna play it, to be honest. But if you somehow do, you still have to go through a lot of stuff. This is an unplayable card. It'll most likely scale as I release more sets, but if not, this is just a control card. I can't see anyone willing to play this card. So yeah. Supercharger. This card used to be overpowered because I made it very generic, so now I made it full green. Passive, if you have 5 or more energy, your energy is treated as energy of any color. Really good effect, which is why it's a pure green card. Just to make it a little bit difficult in deck building, because before you would definitely run like 3 copies of this card, but now you sort of have to like think a bit and think 2 copies would be nice if you're running this card. Lytron the Light Mage. This card used to be very strong because it used to be a 3/6. I don't know why I thought it would be okay, but it has a very powerful effect of putting 2 cards from your hand into your damage pile, which is really strong. And you can run 3 copies of this card, so you can end up with a pretty big damage pile. And its passive is you cannot draw if your deck has no cards, basically meaning your opponent can attack you. So this was a very powerful card. I had to nerf it. I might actually nerf it even further. So yeah, we'll see about it, but for now I think it's still alright, I guess. Next to is Valentine Letter, which kind of goes with this card. Okay, maybe I will nerf this card, but yeah, we'll see about that. Security bots. It's basically for 3 mana you get a 6/6, but as 3 separate creatures. But it also goes well with Robo Ultra Bot, which is the boss card of all the bots. So you can place any number of bot or robo cards in play under this card, and this card gets +1/+1 for each of those bot or robo cards. So yeah, it's only a played effect, so you can't like, it's not a passive effect, so yeah. Kind of wanted to design it that way. Corrupted Blood. When it's charged, you attach one killed creature to this card, and it gains the attached creature's energy ability. Basically what purple does, but this is the energy version of it. Tree Ogre, this is the no ability green card. It's just a very high stat card, and that's about it. Broken Wooden Blade, pretty okay card. It can actually kill your opponent's card, but I don't see why you would give it to attack. I don't know. All of these cards are pretty janky and whatever. Yeah, I'm just really excited to see how the meta will shift when this game gets released. Next is Four Claws. So when this card is rested, you play a green creature, stand it, and move it into play as a creature. So basically, when you use it, like when you rest it for energy, you can bring it out. So yeah, it's very flexible. And at the end of your turn, you charge back this creature. Yeah, I'm gonna. I should probably add that you should charge it back as rested. I made a little bit of a mistake here, but I'll fix that later on. Blushing Bee, this is part of a small bee archetype. I'll do more later on. A little bit of a teaser there. But we got Blushing Bee, so if you have 2 other bee cards in your energy, this produces 2 green instead. Sort of like Tron in MTG. Wingless Flying Bee, if you have 2 other bee cards in play, this gets +2/+2. So bees are like really more of a archetype that works with each other. There are only 2 bees in this set at the moment, so yeah, nothing much. Should be balanced, but I think as I release more sets, I have to be very careful naming cards. Unhappy Mushroom. It has a sort of like taunt ability, so you have to attack it. Mutant Beetle as well. It's a very versatile card, and this was a super strong card before I nerfed it. It's a 7 cost 4/4, but it has the ability to attack the turn it is played or become Unhappy Mushroom. So yeah. Nightball and Cockatrice, pretty standard purple effect. When it dies, you replay it as something. Hermie. So this is another card that is about the damage pile. So yeah, I think I might nerf it. I'm not very sure. I think I'm more of need to nerf Lytron, but I kind of want to see what the meta is like before I do that. And I do need to playtest a little bit more as well. Weird Madman. You can kill this card to make a player draw a card. One of the worst effects out there. Okay, not to say the worst. They're even worse. Like Dead King's Crown is horrible. But this isn't really a good effect either. Castle of Knowledge, it's actually a pretty okay field, sort of spell field card. So yeah, you can read it yourself, because I'm really losing my voice here. Next is Spider Lips. Once per game you can swap this creature for an opponent's creature, and your opponent cannot attack this creature if you do not own this card. So I think owning the card is self-explanatory. A card that you bring in will be owned by you, so yeah. So if your opponent uses its swap ability, you get to have a creature that your opponent can't attack, which is kind of good. So yeah, I think this card is pretty okay. Crystal Wand. Search your deck for a spell card, reveal it, and add it to your hand. If you did not add a card, you can make a player draw 2 cards. So for 2 mana, you get to search for a spell card, or you get to draw 2 cards, which is pretty fair. Next is Evil. Sorry, I skipped there. Enlightened Mountain Ape. When you draw a card, stand this card. I think it's okay. Since it is an energy effect, not passive effect, it's definitely fine. Flame Orb, I did have to put a little bit of the words here. This is a red card, although it has no cost or anything. By the way, cost actually determines the color of the card, so if you see, like in the future, I might create some sort of like multicolored sort of card, so you have to use multiple colors to play it. that would mean that the card, like if the card has red and blue in its color, it is a red and blue card. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna work out the colors and stuff. Next is Evil Rockman. Your creatures in your hand lose their plate abilities. This is another card that combos with your Rogatron. Shieldagun. Whenever a plate ability or spell would target one of your creatures, target this creature instead. That's pretty good. It also combos a little bit of Rogatron, but it's just generally a sort of like taunt for abilities instead of attacks. Trio Pendant. Choose 3 creatures, kill them, and play one of your kill creatures without paying its cost. Sort of like a sacrificial ritual. Suspicious Drink. It's the opposite of Andrago's ability as an like sort of attachment card. Gorboli as a pretty okay passive. When this card attacks your opponent draws 4 cards and discard 2 cards, which is pretty good. You're sort of killing your opponent faster, but it's really hard to play because it's 8 cost. Blue Eyes Black Cat. At the start of your turn, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can put them back in any order. And you may shuffle your deck if you did not look. So you either get to shuffle your deck or you get to see the top 3 cards of your deck. So yeah, pretty neat card, I'd say. So yeah. By the way, at the start of your turn, this is before you draw, so yeah. Gorboli. So when this card attacks another creature, your opponent discards 2 cards from your hand and they draw 2 cards. So pretty strong card, but it is a 5 cost and a 3/3. Next is Super Soda, but I haven't drawn in art for this, and this is a card that I will be drawing. But it has the ability to look at cards in your damage pile, and you may put one to hand, and if you do, you put the top card of your deck into your damage pile. I think this effect might be a little bit strong, might change the cost or something, but this card is half designed, so I can't really say much. And next is 2 of the ultra rares in the set. So you've seen Tron the Purest Light, and now you'll see Mystical Rainbow Ritual. So Tron the Purest Light, I did go through in the pack opening video. Yeah, I don't think I have to explain much, but now we move to Mystical Rainbow Ritual. This is the second ultra rare in the set, and it is all colors. If you control a blue, red, green, and purple creature and their total cost is equal to 10 or more, you can kill them and play this card as a 20/20 creature. And it does still count as a spell card, which means that it doesn't get affected by creature effects. Additional, you can also see that these 2 cards have the legend rule. This means that you can only run 1 copy of this card in your deck. So yeah, this is the second ultra rare in the set, and Tron the Purest Light is, well, the first ultra rare. There is actually high rarity versions of this card, but I will show you guys that in another video. I don't really want to spoil it too much. But yeah, this is the entire 76, 77, 78. So this is a 78 card set so far. I'll be working on more, and yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. Be sure to join the Discord for the latest updates. Sorry the video did last for a super long time, but I really wanted to go through each of the cards because this is a sort of good way for me to review my own designs, and yeah. Yeah, my voice is dead. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you all for your support. Really love the community and how much support you guys have given me. If it wasn't for you guys, I don't think I'll be at this point, because honestly, I didn't expect myself to be this far into creating this game. And yeah, I'm still working on it, and I think this game is probably gonna go pretty strong. Yeah, so anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord for the latest updates, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.